Off.
Oh.
Grand finals of the Douyu Cup playoffs of the Douyu Cup 2020. Exciting times. Another ZvZ between these two legends that played just yesterday in the winner bracket finals. You meet again in the grand finals. Take us away, Captain.
Alright, in the top right spawning as the loser, the man that came through the loser bracket finals. It's the man, the myth, the legend, the Italian stallion. It is Reynor.
And the bottom left, he looked hot yesterday as he won out 3-1 in the winner bracket finals. We'll see if he can keep that ZvZ prowess up today. It is Serral from NC Sports in the bottom left.
Ever dreamed a map where 12 pool drone pool reigned supreme, terrorized every Zerg on every ladder on every server. As we see Serral actually opening up with a pool first here, as he's not having any of it. So he's actually been doing a good job. I think he beat Rogue recently, who tried to do it against him in the War Chess League. Is that correct?
Yeah. Was it? Or was it? I can't remember which. I feel like there's a bunch of 12 pool drone pulls against Reynor and Serral. I can't remember who did what to who. I think Rogue did it to Serral, yeah.
Yeah. It's such a common build on this map, honestly, and it's very fun to watch everyone defend it in different ways. We've seen people wall, we've seen people just pull drones and micro better, but we're not seeing any of it right now, Wardy, as we have Reynor's Overlord just moving across the map, and Serral is doing the exact same thing, except with a slightly later natural hatchery, as Reynor did have the balls to open up hatch first. I don't think Serral actually ever did a 12 pool drone pool, did he?
I don't know. I feel like he might have done it once, but it doesn't really make sense for him to do it, right? Because when you're as good as Serral is, you're just giving up a potential advantage of a longer game where, the 12 pool drone pull comes down to that one moment, that one bit of micro in the fight door, that very short period of time. So obviously, if you feel like you're the stronger player, why put it all down to what could be a couple clicks in the early game instead of over like hundreds of clicks in a longer game,
I like that. Is that how we measure time now in StarCraft game? Clicks?
Yeah, but I mean that's what it is, right? Like if you make 2 misclicks in a 12 pool drone pull, that's obviously game ending. Yeah. Versus if you make 2 misclicks in like a 10-minute game, like obviously you could up it a little bit from 2, but the idea still stands.
Cycling run by into the natural, gonna be going for some drones here. I don't think he should be able to get too much done. Still quite some time until these queens finish up though, and full drone pool is forced here.
This is great. I mean, he denies some mining. He doesn't quite get himself a drone. And these lings, we'll see how they can trade. A little bit stuck because of the queen here as well. He'll get a couple extra lings of his opponent. He actually gets out with 2. Sorry, just 1 in the end. If he'd gone out with 2, it would have been 4 lings for 4 lings. Plus the drone pull, I think, would have been okay for Serral. I think it still is okay for Serral, right? Faster third hatchery here from Reynor is a slight benefit that he gets. Serral just a little behind on the work account is all.
Yeah, but they have a very fast baneling nest here. No third base yet for Serral, who I feel like might start putting on some aggression. We have a fast Evo chamber coming out of Reynor. Could be for either +1 attack or for Carapace.
Carapace, I think.
Yeah, I thought we might see the melee here.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just based on a feeling.
Okay.
Nothing more than a feeling. Oh, Carapace it is, as we have 10 links on the way here. Speed is about to finish up for both players, or just finished up for both players, and we have a third base on the way for Serral here. One baneling is already morphing on the other side of the map. Now, ideally, what Reynor wants is he wants to fight with Ling against Ling Bane on the other side of the map. He doesn't want to be defending against Banes, ideally, because he doesn't have Banes of himself. So the moment there's Banes on his side of the map, the fight becomes very, very difficult. As there's really something that he needs to be defending here. Ooh. This is good so far by Reynor, honestly. This micro has been fantastic.
Yeah, it's been great. He does dodge the first Baneling, and he's keeping Serral guessing as to when he can try and use those Banes, and Reynor will continue to dodge around and get damage onto the Lings. That's so difficult to do. Now he's going to turn that into a little bit of a counterattack, cut off reinforcements as he gets a bit outnumbered, waiting for his next round of Lings to show up. Still dangerous with these Banelings, but that's what the Queens are for. Try and snipe those Banes down, as one Bane goes off just to shut down the lava even.
Yeah, we don't have many more links on the way here for Serral. He's already at 36 workers. 5 more workers are on the way. Is there a road warrant for him yet? No, there's not. Evo coming down for him starts with +1 range attack, so most likely will be going into roaches. You have a road warrant on the way here for Reynor, whose Carapace will finish soon, and at that point these banelings will be pretty much useless. defensive Banes will deal with those links though, and I think altogether this was a successful start here for Serral, right?
Yeah, I mean, he put a lot of pressure on. This is going to be the interesting moment, right, when Carapace is starting to kick in, and maybe you can put a little bit more pressure on as Reynor. He's also going to have that advantage when he hits Roaches, where you've got kind of like Ling Roach versus just Roaches. I think that's pretty nice, and that's generally what you look for with the Carapace upgrade, that kind of Ling Roach combo. I don't know if you'll be able to do enough, though, because he was slowed down a lot. So maybe he just has to go straight into missiles, and I think with the speed of missiles from Serral, maybe it doesn't actually matter that much at all that Reynor has that Carapace advantage, because can he really hit here before missiles is done in a minute?
He's gonna try.
Yeah, he's gonna have like 20 or 30 seconds right across the map. That's maybe enough time to make something happen. All you need is to take the army advantage, and then the +1 missiles finishing doesn't matter if Serral doesn't have enough units to really make it come into play, right?
Yeah. 8 more drones. That's a mistake there by Serral, or at least a misjudgment. Spine Crawler going down immediately. He's already up 10 workers. Now he's going to be up a lot more workers. And these links by themselves are already doing a lot of damage. Serral's not looking forward to all those roaches getting across the map as well, as a couple of Ravagers are being morphed.
Yeah, he kind of knows what's up. He's going to morph in some Balins to try and slow this down a little bit. I thought Serral might have been fooled by the lair of Reynor that started, but he didn't actually see a lair. So I don't know what made him feel safe enough to stop those drones. Maybe just a bit of a misread. Bane's going to finish morphing just in time to dodge from the Biles, and they're going to get forward to at least force the Ravagers back. Serral has 10 seconds until +1 missiles, and that's going to be a great addition to help this Roach fight as the Ravagers being chased. A couple Banes still trying to get connections, but now they run back and they won't connect on anything at all. And that's some nice snipes from Reynor, because those Banes just really were nullified as he snipes one that's morphing in. The Spine Crawler finishes up, only to be corrosive filed down a few moments later, and drones have to pull into this to help Serral defend. Is it enough, as the reinforcing links of Reynor are going to make life difficult?
Yeah, there's still a Spine in the natural that's not being used right now. A lot of roaches for Serral popping with those +1 attack, of course, going to be very, very helpful against the links. Spine finally joins in the fray as well, and I think Serral, even though he had a lot of losses, might have just been able to stabilize.
Yeah, the issue is there wasn't like a huge round of... By the way, Queens just showed up from Reynor. Those transfusions could be huge, but just to quickly finish my point, there wasn't like that big round of Lings to show up to protect the Ravagers, so Reynor has to disengage, but only until now, and now he's got those transfusions. Maybe that can change something, but Serral has much better numbers now, plus the +1 attack, and that's generally a big advantage. The biggest issue is still the Lings, because they're going to do a lot of tanking for the Ravagers, and that can really slow down Serral making his way through the Roach Ravager army, and that can maybe tilt the numbers, but I just don't think it's enough as Serral comes back forward here again. As soon as he gets on these Ravagers, these are going to be really expensive and quick kills.
Oh, I've seen a couple of Biles hit already now. Not the cleanest micro here by Serral, actually, as Numatized Carapace is finishing up for Reynor. Not sure what to do with his money, probably. Spine does go down. I mean, Reynor is very far up in supply. Army count is also in his favor. That was very poor control here by Serral. So weird to see this many Biles hit. There is a Spine in the natural still. Roach speed is about to finish up. Queens are falling.
Yeah,
this is a hell of a game.
There's so many low health Ravagers, though, and that's why I worry for Reynor, because it feels like very quickly these Ravagers can go down, and suddenly if you lose those 3 low health Ravagers, you're on, what, 3 Ravagers remaining? And that's not a lot, as Serral is still reinforcing out. He's down 20 army. Again, it's the Lings that can make the difference, and they start to show up right away. This time the Spine gets piled almost immediately. Doesn't go down, but it's very, very low.
Yeah, Queen also fell to those Biles, so once again... Oh my god, here... Yeah.
Oh...
This is absolutely insane by Serral. I can't believe that he's managing to hold this.
Yeah, what a choke point too.
Yeah. So many low health roaches. He's actually going to be chasing these Predators. Ah, right.
Yeah, now he has Roach speed, so he can actually make this chase happen. He goes through the Bile. He does eat it. I think he thought he maybe could have got through there, but then he maybe didn't want to go. Defends the Lings that counterattacking, and now Serral evens up the army supplies, and that's the big moment. You can see he feels good. He starts +2 missiles. Reynor realizes it's over as well, starts to drone. But playing behind the missile upgrade is the big issue, because as higher Roach counts come out, the the forward Lings from Reynor don't really have as much of an effect, so you really lose the power of that kind of Ling Ravager comp. And so I love where Serral is at for sure, now that he's held this off. These Lings going to run into the third, so he's going to deny some mining, get a couple drones as well, and that's just going to really make sure Reynor doesn't have a follow-up attack before Serral really hits that amazing Roach count in this game.
Yeah, I think Reynor's actually just going to go again. I think he faked a lair and then cancelled it. So I'm not sure if Serral actually saw it. No, I didn't even see the lair.
That's the second time he's tried to fake a lair, and Serral just hasn't seen it.
Yeah. It always sucks when your mind games don't even get scouted. Like, I'm
Yeah.
trying my hardest here, my friend. Give me some respect. 2 more drones are on the way here for Serral, who's a little bit supply block. He's down in army supply, but there's such a massive timing on this Reynor army, honestly. The moment +2 finishes, like you said, with these bigger roach counts, it's going to be hard. Main composition is still going to be Ling Ravager here. The links of Reynor are not in position, and Serral gladly jumps in for now. Big run by into the natural and into the main base. That's actually big.
Yeah,
Gotta go for the hatchery.
That's massive because now you've got to pull so many units away to deal with that. Then maybe it gives these Ravagers a chance to really control the fight at the third base, and suddenly the third base is going down too. I mean, Corrosive Bowels to help it out. Serral's going to make a dart forward. The hatchery doesn't go down just yet. More Corrosive Bowels. He needs one more. Serral has no way to really hold that base. He is dealing with the Lings in the main, but he lost 15 workers and now a hatchery as well, and maybe Reynor just did enough. Remember though, he still doesn't have roach speed, so he can still be chased down. +2 missiles is about to finish though. Serral, he's so eager. He's running through Corrosive Vials.
Yeah, eating a couple of those Corrosive Vials. He's going to dodge the next ones. Of course, with roach speed, he's going to be able to chase very well over there. +2 just completed. With roach speed, the reinforcements are going to be fast as well. We still have some links on the map for another run by, so here goes nothing. 1 roach is in position. Is there any queens at all? There's 0 queens right now for Serral, so these links might be actually be able to do something. Yeah, he's completely all in right now, but what an all in it's going to be. I mean, it's pure Roach Ravager with +2 against Roach Ravager +10 links without any upgrades.
Yeah, the Lings as well right now, because +2 missile finishes, they get 2-shot again, so that doesn't do much, but he eats the Corrosive Vials. That's the one thing he really can't afford to do at all here, and I think that's going to make a huge difference. Reynor pulls a few drones. He can afford to lose some, of course, as Serral is going to get pushed back, and he has no reinforcement potential because of the lack of queens, the lack of drones, and Reynor makes it work in the end and gets off to a hot start in this grand final. Up 1-0 as Serral just didn't quite have enough.
Active gameplay as well. Majority of the time, especially in older times, I feel like Reynor was always the more aggressive one and Serral the defender, but nowadays Serral doesn't mind attacking a little bit, putting it all on the line in a cheeky all-in, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. As in the bottom left spawning as the blue Zerg, the man who's up 1-0, it is Reynor.
And the bottom right down a map is Serral. I really think as well that these two are now on the level where they can't just play like a normal game of like, oh, I'm going to take, like, play Ling Bane into 3 hatch. I think out of all maps yesterday, one game, we had one player go for that kind of very typical, like, the standard ZvZ, you know? And I think that's just because they're both so good that they know they need to try and do little weird things to take the edge, right? To take the advantage. As Serral goes for pool first again here.
Yeah, so does Reynor, though. Oh, no. Wait, never mind. Just plays hatchery first. Yeah, another pool first. That's interesting. Maybe, I mean, his opening was completely fine last game, right? There's nothing wrong with that. So perhaps he's happy with how that went and he's like, well, let's try that trick one more time. As start saving up a couple of larvae here. Guess it's just because he needs to build the hatchery. We'll see how many links he's gonna build. See one more drone going down. Extractor coming out of Serral as well. And I'm not entirely sure how much these overlords are going to be able to see on the other side of the map, right? Like how will they be able to see this link run by? We see 6 links once again in production.
Kind of depends where you take the overlords. Reynor is moving them up to the top side, so it's kind of the right place to be. It forces Serral to take a longer route across the map, which is already a long map anyway, without kind of dying up to the top and avoiding this overlord. But still might be worthwhile just to get the, to get there without Reynor knowing about it.
Yeah. Force that drone pool once again, perhaps get a cheeky drone this time around. Didn't manage to do that. I did have a good link trade, of course. The 4-4 link trade combined with the drone pool that we spoke about seemed to be enough. As Reynor's gonna find out that indeed there is a delayed hatchery at around this point because creep should already be here. So Reynor should be building links, yeah. Usually you wait with these 2 larvae. You don't want to turn them into drones until you actually see if there's a hatchery or not. That's what Reynor told me to do. It's good against a lot of 1-base all-ins, but it also helps against pool first place. Man, that drone once again survives with like 1 hit.
Oh, becomes a spore, but now you can kill the spore. Get the cancel, get the drone. No way! He rebuilds it. Well, that's pretty sick, but he actually lost the link fight, so this is still kind of bad for Reynor. Serral commits for the drone hard. So that does mean he loses lings and doesn't kill any lings, which might mean he has to make a couple more lings himself and then less drones because of it.
Ooh, straight lair. before link speed. Take a look at where this Overlord is going. You know what this is gonna be, don't you, Wardy?
Yeah, you know what as well? Reynor actually died to Nidus in that corner yesterday after having like really good Nidus defense. He died to the one position everyone knows it's going to be in as well. So that would be kind of sad if Reynor let that happen again. Evo Chamber goes down, the Road Tron will be soon to follow, and the setup to this, obviously you want to set up the Evo Chamber, you want to make this look like it's going to be macro if Reynor scouts, and then you hit the Nidus, and then you catch Reynor off guard and you win the game. That's the plan.
Yeah, this is truly the idiot Nidus. Like, everyone does this, you know? Like, every single game, the Nidus is always going to be in that corner. It triggers me to no end, and I'll see a Depot, a Pylon, or even an Overlord hovering over there. As I think Serral, yeah, that's a full wall right there. It's always a bit scary with these queens, right? If they're off by like a pixel or something like that, all of a sudden the links come in and the game becomes very difficult. I mean, if Reynor doesn't have vision there, then he should not really be able to hold, unless he blindly produces a bunch of roaches. But do you really want to be doing that? I don't think so. Not against what Reynor believes this is, which honestly could be a lot of things as well.
Yeah, there's just, once this Nidus goes up in the main, this is just a position that's never meant to happen, right? You're meant to be able to deny this. These builds aren't designed to defend roaches that are popping out in your main base, you know? It's designed about having vision, it's designed about being able to defend. I can't believe Reynor's going to die to this 2 days in a row. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's not over yet, though. It's not over yet. He can produce a bunch of roaches, probably. How many?
He can make 3.
Larva.
Yeah, but he only has 90 gas. Make 4 roaches.
I mean, he can cancel the lair. That's exactly what he does.
Okay.
He starts building roaches, and he can pull away to the gold. The real issue is the Nidus behind the gold as well. So he's going to be able to deny mining in 2 bases. I mean, in theory, as long as he keeps 2 bases mining and alive, he's going to be in a completely fine position. He's attacking the other side as well, with a bunch of links, which is eventually going to fall. He's getting a spine down. I'd love to see a spine in the 3rd base as well, though, at that gold base. The single roach is now denying mining over there.
Hey, actually, the roaches actually pop out of the main base and deny the Nidus, and now Serral can't really reinforce into his main army. He's going to ignore the Spine Crawler, go for the Queens. Now he's going to think about where he wants to go. Well, he doesn't really want to fight where he's fighting right now. He's going to get surrounded. Oh, I don't like where Serral ended up getting himself positioned, because now he's just outnumbered, no way to reinforce it. He backed himself into the corner. Wow. That was, yeah, I'll say it. I completely read that wrong. I thought it was going to be a disaster. This is such a different feel to the series yesterday. Yesterday, Serral looked amazing, was really dominant, you know, really showing up, and like, you know, every game was under his control, it felt like. And now, you know, Reynor's definitely taking the, you know, Serral's trying to take control, but Reynor is the one who just says, no, you know, this is my series. Up 2-0 in a best-of-7 final. That's definitely a good feeling for Reynor at Blue Zerg in the top left of Death Orb.
In the bottom right, the man who needs to start putting in some work right now. He's been looking good in both games, actually, in very good positions, but just lets it slip out of control. It is Serral, which is rare. Usually, he's the guy that makes sure the other guy slips.
Exactly. Like if this was like I feel like Serral could have been Reynor in this series, and you know, then Serral could have been like, you know, maybe a Lambo and a Laser, right? Where Lambo and a Laser can get into good spots, but then Serral just, you know, usually he's that player that makes those magnificent comebacks. We're like, oh my god, Serral, that was so sick, right? And today it's him that's just kind of being
Serral.
Meant to win. Yeah, he's getting Serral. I guess that should be the term for it, right? Because he did it so much to people when he made that crazy run back in 2018 of so many matches won. Yeah, it's true. He's getting Serral a little bit.
A little bit Serral indeed, as we have similar openers from each player here, both going for that Hatch first Extractor. Serral giving up on the pool first place. And we will be heading into... I would love to see just a standard 3-hatchling Bane into Roach versus Roach. These were the games I loved so much to see Serral play back in his dominant period with those tunneling claws as well. Was always a treat to watch. And it feels like Reynor at this point is really up to par with him when it comes to those games as well. So usually they're quite fun to watch indeed. And we'll see how this game ends up shaping up. That Ara is a pretty large map. Now it's made a little shorter, of course, by the acceleration zones. As we see Reynor not really abusing those acceleration zones. They do work on Overlords as well, right?
Acceleration zones, yeah.
Yeah, nice. guess you could have like a really optimal Overlord path through all 3 acceleration zones.
I think it's not worth it.
Really?
Yeah, I think because it's the time it takes you to go out of your way into the acceleration zone and to line it up, it just doesn't actually speed you up that much.
All right, I'll trust you on that, Wardy, but I'm doubtful. So we have the first 2 links of Reynor moving out on the map right now. Going to be running through the acceleration zones like a good boy. And both players taking a third base. We're going to be seeing a standard hatch, third hatch, into most likely some Ling Bane pressure or some Ling Bane defense. Not any Evo chamber going down at this point yet. Sometimes you'll see one player get an Evo chamber and start with a quicker flood of Lings, but not in this case, as both players get their Baneling nest and will be heading into a Ling Bane war. And that, like you said, it's been some time since we've seen these guys go up against each other in a Ling Bane war.
Yeah, the last 6 maps we haven't had a Ling Bane war, I don't think. Like, not a regular one anyway, where it's like, you know, the third hatch, Bane nest, like the standard macro ZvZ opener. You know, these guys make me believe it's not standard anymore, but it is just because they're always trying, you know, play those tricks, get ahead in any way possible, you know, and making their builds tricky. So it should be really fun to see if either of them even take that aggressive stance, because for Ling Bane war to happen, you kind of need one player to be like, okay, I'm going to make the Lings first, drop down a couple drones, and then force you to make Lings and all of that. Otherwise, they both just kind of keep droning. And that's kind of happening here. Serral's been a little bit safer, morphs into Baneling, made a few more Lings, but keeping them at home for the moment. And we might just kind of bypass the entire kind of back and forth, I fight you, you make units, you fight me, I make units stage, and just drone straight up. And yeah, Lair on the way. Evo Chamber's going to start upgrading. Looks like we're just going through. Of course, now there's that potential of do you go Roaches, or are we going to see a movement into Water Spire from one player and maybe some melee upgrades? Because that's where this game can really take a turn in different directions.
And so far, seems like both players will be going into +1 range attack, so most likely going to at least start with Roach versus Roach. Of course, not completely uncommon to follow up with a Spire after some Roach openers, right? We have seen it before, but I think the most common meta at the moment is the one where you do see those melee upgrades and then going into a very fast Spire of 4 gases and really rushing out those mutas. And once you get the control with the mutas, usually the muta player gets in a good spot.
Rotron of Reynor going to finish up at the front. We do see a few Lings moving in. Going to pick off a Ling of Serral in that third base, as those Lings will continue down the right-hand side. Roach speed setting up from Serral. And just going to be seeing a whole bunch of extra drones on the way out right now, as Reynor continues out down to the bottom. He's actually going to run by, but of course there are units around for Serral, wall off, so he doesn't let too much information be gathered. That is kind of tough because, you know, you look at what Reynor sees right now, he doesn't actually know there's Roaches, right? So he doesn't necessarily know that this isn't a Spire and a melee upgrade. So he's just a little bit blind for that a little bit longer than he may like to be.
Yeah, we see Reynor actually going straight into 6 gas as well. So this is a +1 play with a Spire. So +1, oh, it's going to be Nidus. So actually I think Reynor kind of cucked himself there by not having any type of Roaches, right? So he's getting +1 range attack and then doesn't have any Roaches, so Serral doesn't believe the fake, which is really one of the weirdest fakes. Why would you get +1 missile attacks if you're not going to build a single Roach? This has to be an impulsive play by Reynor, the Spire.
Yeah, he starts up 1 Roach now. We'll see if he has plans for many more, but even still, you know, the investment into the Spire, that's going to be quite costly here. Roach speed isn't going to be quite done, so the fight should be a little bit better for Serral initially too. He's already pushing Roaches across the map. Spy cancel? Okay. That's actually huge. It was about to finish as well. And he realizes he just needs as many Roaches as possible. He starts up Spines. Reynor realizes where he's at. Let's see what he can do with it. A 10-worker lead, but down an army, and Serral will have pretty much instantaneous reinforcements. Those Spines just aren't ready yet as Serral pushes in.
Yeah, +1 range really is going to help now for Reynor, so I'm glad he did end up finishing it. This is a good start of the fight here for Reynor. Holy crap. Spines are about to finish up, which will definitely start helping out as well. Serral is pushing in Ling flank. Oh my god, once again these Ling flanks by Reynor doing so much work. Nidus starts up in the main base. Reynor does spot it with an Overlord, but there's nothing in position. I mean, Reynor is stopping this just fine for now, it looks like.
Yeah, he needs to be a little careful here, because his Roaches are all very low health at the front, so They start to drop very quickly. Now the Knight is into the main, and Reynor isn't prepared for that. So this is where you do start to get pulled apart maybe a little bit. This is where Serral starts to get a few drone kills, and now he's going to be back on the third base. Flying Caller is transfused. Good attention being paid by Reynor, as Serral has to back off. Now he maybe needs some, units elsewhere again. He is still fighting the third, but that's into a Spine Crawler. And these queens, which, again, you're picking up a couple of queens. I mean, that's way better for Reynor than it is if he, compared to being, losing drones. And now he'll only lose one drone before these roaches push back again.
Yeah, Reynor with a lot of gas in the bank here as well. +2 halfway done. I don't think it will finish before the end of this attack is over. So Reynor already thinking of the next step as well. 3 Ravagers are being morphed. Roaches for Reynor still in position in the main base. So that's not going to be a play anymore here for Serral. Micro by Reynor. 3 Ravagers finish up. Couple of Baals coming down to end up hitting a Queen here right there. But this is still a close fight, I believe, with the quick reinforcements from home. Once again, Reynor takes it. 3-0, puts himself on a match point in really a very clutch defense with that Spire cancel, the higher drone count, but the +1 on the range, which I was doubting so much, comes in clutch and actually does help him win that game.
Serral was on such a timer as well because +2 was on the way. So Reynor's making this defense happen while getting the upgrade, right? And that's the thing. If you kind of making him hold and he's only on +1 and not getting the upgrade, it's like, well, eventually maybe you add a few drones and it evens out or something, but that's just not what's happening here at all. And Serral, it could happen. That is a ridiculous stat. As in the bottom left, on match point 3-0, is Reynor.
On the top right, the man who still has a big 0 on the scoreboard. It is Ansus Serral. And somewhere in Italy right now is an 18-year-old man sitting in front of his computer, praying that he can take one more. Because then not only does he win the tournament, but he does something that no one has done in a very, very long time. And that is clean sweep Serral. In a tournament that is, I think we could label this definitely a premier tournament, right?
I mean,
this was a massive tournament. Like the top of the top players were here. There's a lot of money on the line, a lot of prestige as well. God knows Serral's going to be quite pissed if he loses, just in general, but also if he loses 4-0, because he does tend to get quite motivated by his losses.
This is actually labeled as Premier on Liquipedia, which is the official. If it's Premier on Liquipedia, because like even Home Story Cup struggle to get Premier on Liquipedia sometimes, depending on their prize pools. So yeah, this is legit, man. Like this is not just like, oh, I'm showing up to play an online cup. This is kind of serious business. This is kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal. A bit like Wardy in the StarCraft 2 scene. As we have both players opening up with a hatchery first, similar to last game. Now, I'd love to see us like the same thing. I'd love Reynor to play Muta here, just the quick you're just doing it again, just quickly going for the same thing again with that +1. It worked last time. Maybe even rushing out the Muta even faster. I mean, Eternal Empire is a long map to attack on. If you're gonna do any type of attack, it has to be with a Spy, or it has to be with a Nidus, right? You can't just willy-nilly walk across the map and go for it. At least I haven't seen that very much here.
Man, I feel like this is the game where we see Reynor mix it up a bit as well, right? Because he's got so much room to play with in the series. I'm not saying you should kind of play around in a series against Serral even with a 3-0 advantage, but he can do the crazier things now, right? He can go melee into mutas maybe or something, right? And really kind of test the waters elsewhere. And I think those are the sort of things that, now Serral, you've got to be ready for anything. You can't let a Nidus go up unexpectedly. You've got to be perfect on all of your scouting. It's a tough one.
On the other hand, if you're a Reynor and you just won 3 games in relatively safe fashion, do you really want to switch it up like even further? So far, his defense has been absolutely fantastic. He did one all in, I guess, on Everdream, with being Ravager, but I mean, he's been getting in good positions time after time from relatively standard early games.
But I feel like that's true, but at the same time, I feel like Serral is the kind of player that says, right, this is what's going wrong for me, let's fix it. I know it's kind of taken a little while in this series, but it is a best of 7, so he's getting more time to fix it. So in that regard, I'd be kind of scared, because I agree if Reynor's playing like the majority of other players and something's working for him, I say why switch it up? Why change it? But I do just get worried that Serral cottons on to being like, right, this isn't working for me. Let's start fixing it. Let's make those changes, because Serral is absolutely the player who's capable of doing that mid-series.
Yeah, we see a quick evo chamber coming out of Serral here. Looks like he's going to be going into fast Mutalisk, right? No Roach Warren yet.
Yeah.
I just have a Bane already. I kind of missed that. Oops. But we have Carapace coming out for Reynor here. I feel like we might just see like a Muta against Muta or something like that. It wouldn't completely surprise me, honestly.
Yeah. Carapace, though, I don't know. Right, he goes missiles. He's just going to go super early missiles. The Carapace is kind of a weird one to go Mutas with, though. I feel like a lot of people, if they go Carapace, they do have that Roach Roll, kind of like what we saw in Everdream. So we'll see. I mean, you can definitely do it. I just think the melee upgrade works that little bit better. There's the Roach Run, so he's just gonna go Ling Roach. Carapace just works so well with Ling Roach. That's just the whole thing.
Yeah, it is very nice, and we see actually standard coming out of Serral here as well. One Baneling being built right now. There's not gonna be much of a timing for Ling Roach to do very much of anything, right?
Only if Serral tries to go like 66 drones 3 base economy into Roaches. But he's getting Overlord speed. I mean, that's actually an investment that might hurt him a little bit, right? Because you'll build an Overlord speed that's gas that you might need in Roaches of your own. You can see the gas difference in the bank right now as they prepare to build Roaches in the near future.
Yeah. And Ravagers as well, right? For Reynor. He's on pretty fast 3 gas. Doesn't really have any tech behind this. There's no layer. So, yeah, but, I mean, we're seeing a lot of units coming out of Serral already on 60 workers. He's taking these extra gases, going up to 6 gas, but 2 Banes coming in. Should not really be able to do too much. And now we have a Queen in the wall, unlike Everdream, where the Link should manage to stream in.
Yeah.
Carapace about to finish up in 13 seconds. I mean, Serral is super ready for this, right? 58 workers against 47. This is such a good scenario. +1 is about to finish up as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a completely different game, right? I mean, he's much better defensively already. He's really setting up, looking good. He dealt with a couple of Banelings without losing any drones or anything, so no issue there. These Banes do get through, and they actually connect on the first few Roaches, which is kind of nice. But I mean, that's probably going to happen during the fight anyway. He actually trades 2 for 4 in favor of Serral on that bottom side with these Banelings, and now there's no Banelings up from Reynor, so Serral can maybe even flood in with his own Lings to tank a little bit. He's got 11 Roaches in production. When they pop out, this turns into a very different game. I mean, there's already spines up. Serral starts +2 missiles, and that's already just also a sign of, hey, I feel pretty darn good right now.
Yeah, I mean, he has 4 spines right now. 1 in the natural, and there's 3 at the 3rd base. Battles will rain. Oh my god, that was a great Baneling cancel. Seems like Serral's playing extremely tight this game, as we still see Reynor actually pushing forward. He still has a big army as well. Bane is coming in, doing some damage. Not all spines are in a great position.
Yeah, the spine is kind of flanking, by the way. Yeah, it gets scary, but the thing is, this is why Serral started +2, because even though it looks a little bit sketchy, he knows for a fact he can hold this off with the production that he's got coming in, right? And so I kind of just trusted Serral's judgment of this game, because there's been nothing that went wrong to mean that his judgment should be off. It's not like he took a big Bane hit onto drones or anything. And this is kind of what happened on Everdream, right? Serral was getting to the point where he could turn this around, but the Ling run by changed it. But there's nothing like that here this time around, and suddenly you can see the difference. Serral's up a lot of workers, suddenly cleaned out a lot of units, and he's up 30 army supply. As he hits +2 in Roach speed, we're going to see the attack from Serral that we tried to see on Everdream, but it's going to be in a way, from a way better standing.
Yeah, hopefully he does get something in the wall to deal with any type of run. I mean, his Overlord spread is insane right now. He's going to be able to see everything. Sees the layer, sees 6 gas, so he knows that. I guess Reynor was planning on playing Spire, but now that he gets scouted, he starts +1 range. It gets pooped on as well. And this is honestly quite... We see Spire coming out for Serral here. He's going to have a +2 timing, where I think he might have a kill timing. And then afterwards, he's going to get the Muta. So it's just looking so freaking rough for Reynor right now in this game.
Wing's going to get us around on this hatchery. I mean, that's a win. It's a kill as well. So that is a win for Reynor. But it's, in the grand scheme of things, it's such a small win, right? Because it's not like he has his own 4th on the way up or anything. He's going to be playing behind on Muta versus Muta, apparently. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, but I think he might be able to hold on at least temporarily. +1 Roach is moving in, though, and these guys do a lot of damage. Roach speed being done is helping out as well with the chase. There might just be a little bit too much here, honestly. +2 finishes up right now. It's +2 Roaches against 0 Roaches. Now, There's no Nidus here, so reinforcements are gonna be slow. Fourth base is on the way here for Serral, as an attempted run by Reynor kind of gets shut down by these roaches in the middle of the map. I don't think Serral's gonna let the same thing happen again and get a cancel on that base. And don't forget, if you're playing Muta versus Muta and one guy has a rich Vespine Geyser on the fourth base, that's
it's disgusting, right?
That's a big yikes from you, Wardy. That's like 3-4 Mutas you're gonna get extra every single minute. So after 2 minutes, the game pretty much just ends, you know, unless Serral completely forgets the micro or control his units, a couple of move commands, but even then, like I think I would be able to win at that point. So funnily enough, there's a type of timer here on Reynor, while Serral is the one that is aggressive. So
yeah, it's rough. He sees the mutas now. His best shot may be Corruptors, right? Just go for like a big roach Corruptor timing. The issue with that is he just doesn't have the roaches on the ground to win a fight either. You know, this kind of works if you kind of like, oh, okay, he's just on going mutas. He doesn't have, like, he invested a lot into mutas, so he doesn't have a lot of roaches. That's not the case, right? Like, Serral has the roach advantage on the ground. He's got the missile advantage, so the roach Corruptor might be the best shot, but it's still not a realistic shot. And that's just kind of the position Reynor is in. Like, he doesn't have a good way to really follow up now as he's losing Overlords. These mutas are going to say hello, what's up to a couple of Ravages. He sees the Corruptors too, so he knows what's up. And I mean, at this point, Serral doesn't even need to be that aggressive with his mutas. He can even just set up a couple of spores at home to help out with the fight if he feels he needs it. But does he need it? Probably not. So, yeah, not really much essential need for that there either.
Yeah, this is looking very, very rough right now here for Reynor, who continues his corrupted production, is probably just gonna max out and then go for it, right? There's not much else he can do at this point. Loses 2 workers, forces a pool by these mutas, so 7 more mutas on the way will climb up to 25. Jeez.
Yeah.
He cancelled the upgrade as well for the corruptor, no? He had Carapace on the way, but then he decided to cancel it. I mean, he does get some decent trades every now and then, but the gas income for Serral is just so damn high. He's gonna take 10 gas right now, or number 9 and number 10 are on the way. And I mean, once these start mining, like, what is Reynor supposed to do with 11 corruptors against 21? +1 Carapace is about to finish up here for Reynor. No upgrades here for Serral. No upgrades here for Reynor. Can't even really one-shot the mutas, which is just so sad to watch.
Yeah, this is brutal. This is just brutal. I mean, what do you really do, right? Like, the thing is that the Corruptors, it's meant to be like a roach Corruptor timing. And obviously, like, you're not really hitting the timing, so it's a little bit rough, right? it's really rough. I mean, the mutas are just trading with Corruptors, and the problem is the Corruptors, once you lose the Corruptor count, you can't back away with them or anything. Then you never really get back up again. I feel like maybe he's losing a couple of mutas to these Corruptors. He doesn't need to, but he's also stopping him from mining this rich Vespine gas, which is massive. Actually gets the kill on that in the end. Yeah, it's rough.
I feel like at this point, Serral can almost just fight these Corruptors just head on now. He has so much more gas income, 1600, 1500 gas per minute, and yeah, there we go. He's just fighting right now with superior upgrades, with superior numbers. He's even gonna be going for a couple of roaches here and there. We have 22 mutas against 12 Corruptors, as Serral once again decides to turn around. Gets 2, perhaps a third one, no. I mean, Reynor just really can't seem to be pushing this back. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, it's I still just don't see where it's going, right? Like, I don't see where this changes at any point or anything, or where if things turn around. Mutas coming up, Corruptor's still building. I mean, there's just bases everywhere, right? You're playing 5 base against a 4th that just got up. Now, you know, Serral's going to make an effort to take this base down. Well, it doesn't have a great roach count, but the mutas help out a lot as well. So taking down a bunch of these to begin with.
Yeah, that fight didn't go well. Yeah. 13 mutas on the way. I think he wanted to free up some supply to get more mutas, because he actually had trouble winning the air war, but I have a feeling that with 15 more mutas here, he might just be able to do that. As his casting, I mean, his income is actually almost 1-to-1 ratio. He's literally producing 16 mutas a minute at this point. +2 attack is on the way as well for these muta lists. There's a lot of Corruptors, though. The way Reynor has been balancing Roach and Corruptor has been absolutely fantastic. We gotta give him credit for that. We have 12 gas right now for Serral. 12 gas mining.
So that's my question though, right? While we can praise Reynor for, surviving, is he doing it, is he giving himself a chance to win, or is he just surviving? I guess the chance to win is maybe that Serral overcommits to a situation, but right now these mutas are just fighting the Corruptors, and Serral says he can just chase these down. We're talking 36 Corruptors on the map against 14 Corruptors. I guess this is the point that Serral's just been building too. The Roaches counterattack though, so again, Reynor making it tricky. Definitely giving himself as many chances as possible to turn this around and make something happen.
It's gonna find the Roaches of Serral before the mutas come back home. Now that the mutas are here, I guess, oh my god, 8 more mutas on the way. It's just, you kill Roaches and more mutas just keep showing up again and again and again. But 39 muta lists.
This is the issue with the Corruptors, right? Because now these Corruptors are in a fight which they can't really ever back away from, so you lose this fight and then you never really get the Corruptor count back. They can't just run home to reinforcements or anything. Serral is still kind of backing away. I guess he still needs to fight the Roaches with the mutas as well, but now he's like, look at that, he's like one-shotting Corruptors down. It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it's not really losing Mutalisk either. Every now one or two will go down, but he literally has a 1-to-1 ratio. He was getting 20 mutas a minute, and I doubt Reynor could really afford more than 8-9 Corruptors a minute. So it's like, yeah, it's gonna be rough there, buddy. It's gonna be real rough.
They're putting out all the time. It's hard to say. The only thing that maybe could happen would be 12 pool, because yesterday I think they went 12 pool versus 12 pool on this map.
Oh, and we are seeing a 12 pool here by Serral.
Cancels the
What
draw.
a guy.
I wonder if he switches it up completely. Because yesterday it was just 12 pool expand. I wonder if he sort of switches it up, and because it must be too risky to go like 12 pool drone pull, right? Because Reynor went 12 pool yesterday, and that would just be like a build order loss.
That would be a build order loss, but you know what you gotta do sometimes, Wardy? Sometimes you just gotta put it all on the line. And sometimes you gotta put it all on the line 5 games in a row. That was my my theory in Heart of the Swarm, when in every best of 5 I played against Zerg, I would just immortal in every single game. Just put it all, if you put it all on the line every single time, Wardy, it isn't as exciting anymore for you. And for the other guy, it's always very exciting, because he isn't as used to having it all on the line. And it's all you do, so you have the mental advantage, that's for sure.
Well, let's see what Serral wants to get up to right here. He hasn't hotkeyed any drones or anything. I don't think we're going to see anything crazy. He's going to send a drone to build the hatch. So yeah, Reynor deals with this. You know, it is a small map. You know, the Lings do still arrive quickly. This is still going to be a micro war that Reynor has to somehow try and win. He's going to have to pull drones. And of course, this is a build because it's not super all-in from Serral. Yeah, you need to deal some damage, but it can consistently deal that damage because of the position you force your opponent into.
Yeah, and I think this actually got spotted now.
Yeah.
Did it?
Sorry, I didn't actually see the Lings and the Overlord vision. I mean, he sees it
It
now.
gets spotted now, so it's not...
And basically the same thing, right? Because he's already got the pool down. Like, you can't really change anything. It's just a bit of mental preparation.
It's just about the larva spending as well, of course. Now we'll see if he knows about the timing. Like, of course, he should know what timing these Lings are arriving. We see 2 Lings on the way right here for Reynor. Now, the usual response is something along the lines of a temporary drone pull towards the natural. We see, what is this, 10, 12 drones being pulled? Maybe 10, 11.
Serral going to turn and fight. Obviously, oh, I love this. He actually kept a few Lings on the hatchery, so he keeps a lot of pressure on the hatch, and this is really good for Serral so far. I feel like he gets a lot more damage on this hatch than you're meant to. He turns to fight again. Some of these drones getting very low. He loses 1, loses 2. It's so tempting to go for more drone kills. A couple extra Lings showing up. They might try and slip by. And of course, Reynor has to figure out what he does here. Now he's going to lose a 3rd drone. And his hatchery is still low enough. Wow, yeah, this is getting really good for Serral.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to lose 4 drones here. I'm not an expert on this matchup or how this situation plays out, but I feel like maybe 1 or 2 drones is okay, but you're losing so much money as well when pulling these drones that you can't really afford to lose that many. It was a very cute micro by Serral, though, as you mentioned. You pointed out with those Lings, just really quick at switching between the hatch and the drones.
Yeah.
Just absolutely phenomenal.
And it's definitely the way that he leaves a few Lings on the hatch too, because it puts that extra pressure on Reynor, like, oh, you can't just like back away safely with the drones. You do have to like force me to pull again, right? So it was very well executed as Reynor out in the middle of the map. Looks like he got himself a... I was going to say an Overlord, but apparently not. The Queens are just out here, I guess, hunting for an Overlord that he never found. So, yeah, that was a little bit odd.
What a supply block here, my friend. By Reynor, 36 out of 36. This is a very painful one. It does have 3 larvae available as well, so it's going to cut a bit in his money later on. It's also just painful to have this type of supply block, right? Not only because it hurts economically, but also mentally it hurts a bit. Like, oh crap, everything is going wrong. I lose 5 workers, then I'm supply blocked. It's actually running straight into a new supply block as well, 43 out of 44 already. So yeah, he's not going to be too happy with this. He's losing control at least a little bit.
Oh, missile upgrade starts from Reynor and from Serral in sync. Of course, Serral, you look at that advantage of being on toward the lair. Well, Reynor says, I'm going to take a third hatchery. And that's interesting because neither of them have ling speed. So in a way, I feel like Reynor gets away with this a bit, but the lair really adds so much into that roach speed, and that can go a long, long way.
Yeah, and also, of course, being Reynor, you're not quite sure what it's going to be, right? It could be 2-base Mura for all he knows. It could be another Roach Knight, as like we've seen on Golden Wall, or it could just be what we're seeing right now, a standard. Well, standard. We're seeing a Roach speed and +1 timing, most likely, off of what seems to me around 41, 42 drones, with a third base behind it, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the point, right? Like, you get saturated now, so he makes nothing but roaches for a little bit. And then you take the third base, and obviously your roach attack moves across as you drone up the third base, basically. So this is a very typical setup. I really feel like that roach speed helps a lot, because again, it's a lot about positioning. Reynor does have the money to build a lot of roaches. I guess, obviously, if you go into a set of roaches and they don't have speed, defensively, that's still somewhat okay, because, you know, it doesn't matter too much as long as you're not caught completely out of position and you're trying to run between bases. Serral is behind a lot of drones right now, but he has started the droning process of his own, and should be able to force roaches now, so like Reynor shouldn't get any higher than he already is.
It's really only 6 roaches, though. Oh, it's a fake Queen March, I think.
Yeah, trying to take down the first Overlord, and then you back away, but of course Reynor doesn't know. He's not buying it just yet. He doesn't drop any spines. He feels like his roach build account should be okay. I mean, he has counted the roaches coming across the map, so he has that info, right? Definitely helps. Make a couple of the calls. There's 9 roaches in production. Roach speed. Carapace straight away from Reynor too, so zero doubt in his mind what he wants to do here. And he's actually going to get in, sees the second Evo chamber, so now for sure he knows that this is continued upgrades and this is going into longer games. So this works out really well for Reynor. You know, he had that income lead for a while. And yes, okay, Serral catches up now, but you can see the army difference, and that's not everything, because Serral also already starts +2. He's also got gas in the bank to spend on some more roaches, but there's a serious amount of time that Reynor was up a lot of workers.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely shows in the supply, right? I mean, Reynor is just up 20 supply, and sure, he won't have the +2 as fast, which might be a minor issue, but he just has a lot of crap. Like, he has a lot more roaches at this moment in the game, and giving a player like Reynor this type of advantage usually ends quite poorly for the other player, as we see 6 gases going down here for Serral right now. Might be looking to head into some additional tech after this.
CS goes running down the left. Roaches of Reynor will join in the center. It's a lot of roaches, man. He really understands his timing, right? Like, he doesn't start +2, and he realizes that Serral is going to go for that +2. So here we go. Reynor just says, let's party. Dances straight on into this fight, and, well, defensively, Serral has the Ravagers. He's got a couple of Queens to help out, but is it enough to overturn what was a huge income and now a huge roach advantage so far? It looked okay initially, but now Reynor gets through. The Ravagers start to drop, and this is scary, scary times for Serral. He just doesn't seem like he can hold this off.
Yeah, you gotta keep dancing as long as the music keeps playing, but it seems for Serral, the music stopped a while ago, as he's down 40 supply right here. Carapace is about to finish up. There's 1 spine. That gives him some type of backup. +2 attack. Might finish up as well, but it's a little bit late. It's a little bit late. He's pushing this back temporarily, and +2 around the corner. Might just be barely enough here, Wardy, but a new influx of roaches arrives on the front. And there's a spine at the third base. Gets 1 shot most likely. There we go. 2 more roaches do fall. A couple of balls do need to hit, and they don't really. The roach attack first in time.
Yeah, this was not what it needed to be, was it? As +2 is not going to be there at all. There's not going to be the roach count needed, and Reynor has a real turnaround, dominant performance in this series after yesterday's winner bracket final, where honestly, going into today, I was like, man, Serral, if he looks that good again, it's going to be kind of brutal. But Reynor showed up after a close series against Zest. He came in swinging and hitting every single punch in this grand final, and he takes it. He's the Douyu Cup 2020 champion $7,000 in his pocket.